Hey guys, welcome to 3.01. There really isn't much need for a video here, but I want to just make one in case you're used to watching it. Really, a lot of this is just going to be definitions. So grab yourself a pen and a piece of paper and just write these definitions out as we go, because that's ultimately what you're just going to need to know. I've already written the definitions down. I've written them all down on this. Oops, I didn't mean to zoom in. Written them all down here. So just to save time in the video, I didn't want to, write all the definitions out with you. I just figured I'll write them down. You guys can pause the video, you can screenshot, whatever you need. Although my handwriting's not the best, so take that as a grain of salt. So now there are defined and undefined, I guess, terms in geometry. So the three undefined terms are point, line, and plane. And the reason they're undefined, even though we're going to kind of make a definition for it, undefined really means the fact that they create a foundation for geometry. You can't have geometry without these three essential pieces: point, line, and plane. So a point, as you know, a point is just a simple point. It's just a particular location, no size, no dimension, just a point, and we label them using a capital letter. Again, I've written that definition down: a point, a location, no size or dimension, right? A line. A line is the second undefined term. A line is a line. It's described as a stream of points that has no width or depth. So there's no thickness to it, there's no depth to it. It's just a line. It's a stream of points. So essentially it's infinitely many points all stuck together with no space in between the points, just all the points together line up to create a line. It is one-dimensional. Its one dimension is described as length. There is more to read here. Points that lie on the same line are called collinear. Co means together, and linear means line. And then non-collinear points are points that would not be on the same line. So, for example, you look at the diagram or the graph here. A and D are collinear. They lie on the same. Those points are on the same line, but A and E or D and E are non-collinear because they're not on the line. Or I guess I really should say that all 3 points are considered non-collinear because you can't put all 3 points on the same line. So just another kind of, I didn't write collinear and non-collinear down on here, but it might be something you want to add. Collinear, all on the same line. Non-collinear cannot be written in the same line. And then you have plane. And now plane, we're not talking about the actual picture of a plane here. Plane is referring to a flat surface. So think of like a piece of paper, right? Piece of paper is a good kind of illustration of a plane. It's a flat surface. Now a plane extends indefinitely in all directions. And it's considered two-dimensional, length and width. Okay. Again, you have the same thing about coplanar and non-coplanar. Coplanar will have all points on the same plane. So E, F, G in the diagram all lie on that plane, so they are coplanar. But non-coplanar would mean that you cannot put a plane through all 4 points. Think of it like a three-dimensional space, right? You put points on your paper, but then if you somehow took a point off the paper and hovered it on top, the point that's hovering on top is not going to be coplanar because it's not part of the plane that all the other points on the piece of paper are. So another definition or two to write down: coplanar and non-coplanar. I did not put that on my cheat sheet here, but it is something to probably make note of. All right, so next we're talking about what exactly is geometry. Now geometry actually translates into earth measurement. Geo means earth, and metric, if you will, refers to measuring. So here's a little poll. You can answer. It's not a yes or no question. It's kind of a vote, or it's no right or wrong. It's just, what do you think of when you think of geometry? And you can click on one of those and see how your opinion stacks up with others. Do you think of architecture, space, food, clothes, or measurement when you think of geometry? What first comes to your mind? This is a very good practice. You guys should be able to do this. It's just a drag and drop. So grab one and drag it over to where you think it belongs. Try to get those right. I'll get you started, right here. These right here are perpendicular lines. So I drag it over to perpendicular lines and it's correct. So you guys can hopefully figure all of that out. If you can, you're off to a great start. So line segments. So a line segment is now a defined geometric object. It's defined because you can actually use the undefined terms of a point in a line to make it. So a line segment is a portion of a line with two endpoints. So it is a line, but it doesn't extend forever. It only extends to its endpoints. And like I said, you can see, where does it say it? I thought I saw it somewhere. Yeah, to define a line segment, you have to use undefined terms such as a point and a line, right? So a point, a line, and a plane are the three things, like I said, that make up all of geometry. So a line segment is a piece of geometry that is made up of those components, right? Point and a line in this example. Again, I've got that jotted down on my paper, so make sure you jot it down on yours as well, right? Line segment. All right, defining angles. So angles. First, we need, before we can define an angle, we have to define a ray, and then we have to define a vertex. A ray is kind of like a line segment, except it only has one endpoint, and then the other side goes on forever. So there's one point at the end, but the other side will extend out forever. Okay, there we go. A vertex, we know what a vertex is. It's kind of the point where the two rays meet, the corner, if you will. And of course, the angle is that separation, if you will, the separation between the two rays creates an angle. Now, it actually creates an interior and an exterior angle. If you think about this being a 360-degree angle, essentially all the way around, the inside part is 45 degrees between the rays, but if you think about the angle outside the rays, angle outside is 315 degrees. Because 315 plus 45 would make an entire 360. So just measurements to keep in mind. All right. And then our last page, more definitions, right? Circles. So circles, main things you need to know are radius and diameter. What you'll have to know is the radius is only half the length of the circle across. It's the radius goes from the vertex or center point, if you will, to the edge. So it's only half the length of the circle. The diameter will go all the way across. So diameter is always going to be twice the distance of the radius. So if the radius is 2.5 inches, diameter will be 5 inches. Because the radius is half the distance, diameter would be the full distance, right? And a circle is a circle. So radius is always going to be half the diameter. Just something kind of to show you there. All right. You can see why it's important that you like to use this jet example as to why normal size, increase in size, or decrease in size. And then this can explain to you exactly why you would want a certain circle size for your jet. But like I said, there isn't really much to it. It's mostly definitions. It's mostly vocabulary. So just jot down the words. Make sure you have, something like this where you have everything written out together. Just keep it next to you when you go through the quiz. You should be fine. Mine's very poorly written, but it is what it is. Good luck on your quiz. If you have questions, let me know. Happy to answer. Now, keep in mind the quiz will ask things in a very interesting way. So make sure you read it carefully. All right. But yeah, that's going to end it. I'll see you in the next section.